We're back. The rep round's over. The Origin's over. We'll come back to that in a couple of weeks, but we are here obviously for round 16. It's starting to heat up, and I don't know about you, Baxter, but obviously, first of all, thank you for joining me again. But there is a few absolute cracking games this weekend. Not just rivalries, but games that could ultimately decide the top four, decide what teams don't make the top eight, and ultimately decide what teams finish in that bottom four. So, Baxter, before we jump into obviously the games, they're running along the screen. Is there one game in particular, take away you're a Cowboys fan, but is there another game in particular that you're looking forward to this round the most?
Yeah, it's actually the Dogs-Sharks game there on Saturday night, so it'll be good. It is good because obviously you got the Dogs coming off a two-trot win there, obviously against the top four side Sharks, who are trying to keep that top four spot. Yeah, that's the game I'm going to look out for. Obviously, that leads into my Cowboys-Broncos game, but yeah, it'll be good to watch there and just sit back and relax.
Obviously, Thursday night, it does kick off with a game that's arguably been a massive rivalry in probably the time we've been growing up. It is Manly taking on Storm. I'm going to bring up, obviously, the team list up on the screen right there. We'll talk about 1 through 13. Then we'll talk about the bench, but it's obviously 7:50 at 4 Pines Park. Obviously, for those that don't know, that is Brookvale. Baxter, what stands out for you here? For me, it's obviously Munster starting at number 6, but it's also Nick Meaney, obviously starting at fullback. We'll get to it a little bit later. There is a little pappy sitting on the reserves list, but what talks to you about 1 to 13 here? Obviously, Cherry Evans backs up, Trbojevic backs up, Munster backs up, but what else speaks to you?
Obviously, Josh Ayala is out with a concussion there. You got Ben Trbojevic named for the reserves for Manly. Obviously, as you said, Jakey and DCE named in their respected roles, backing up from Origin. Munster backing up. It's good to see the boys backing up there. Brandon Smith named at lock is a bit of a shock. I thought he'd be coming off the bench there. Obviously, you saw Harry Grant not play a full 80 minutes, and even when he did play his minutes in Origin, he was sucking in those big ones. So I thought maybe they put Smithy to 14 or even named it 9 and put Grant to the bench, one or the other. But yeah, as you did say, you got there Ryan Pappenhausen named in the 19th jersey in reserves. Does he start? He has to if he wants to make Origin. He has to get the Storm number one spot. Number one spot alive. Obviously trying to jump the Panthers there, but yeah, good pack and a good team from the Seagulls, and the same for the Storm. It'll be a good game.
All right. Well, obviously, Baxter, I know you haven't been on many preview shows with us, but obviously we do go that 1 to 12, 13 plus. So I'll let you go first on this game. Who do you think takes out this game? Obviously, it is at Manly. They have been playing somewhat decent football. They came home strong against the Raiders before Origin. How do you see this game going?
Yeah, Manly are a fortress when you go to Old Brookie or 4 Pines Park, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to go Manly 1 to 12 here, and yeah.
All right, well, we'll jump in, obviously, to the next game. It is the Newcastle Knights with no Kalen Ponga taking on the Gold Coast Titans. Yep. Now, for me, this is a game, I think if Kalen was playing, I'd be siding with that Newcastle squad. However, he's not in there. They haven't really set the world alight. I know I got absolute stick when I put him 15th at the start of the season, but
hell yeah, you did.
I'm going to go Titans 1 to 12 here. I think if I look at that squad, obviously AJ Brimson, Asako, yes, they've got the young halves in Paul Turner and Sexton, but I don't see this Newcastle side threatening too much or too many teams for the rest of this competition. And it would not shock me if they took home the wooden spoon. So, Baxter, I'll throw it to you. I'm going 1 to 12 Gold Coast. How are you seeing this one play out?
I'm actually going on Titans 13 plus here. Obviously, Ponga's out for the week. Texway named at 1. Okay, guys, backing up from Origin. You got Best and Saifidi also named on the reserves for the Knights here. So look for a bit of a change, maybe best going in for Gagai if he's injured or not, whatnot. You got David Fafita also on the bench to the Titans, and Tino backing up. Proctor on the reserve. So yeah, I will stick with me 13 plus for the Gold Coast Titans here.
You know what? We might get absolutely ridiculed here. You might not even agree with me, but I look at that 18 to 22, and I think if I'm Gold Coast, I'm sitting here going, thank God those 5 players aren't on the pitch, because they have the potential to change that game. You look at a Clifford, we saw how he started the season. Bradman Best, he knows how to find the try line. Heimel, Hunt, Safidi, they're going to have a dig. So I think I'm a happy man if I'm a Gold Coast team going against this Newcastle side, but obviously I've gone 1 to 12. You've gone 13 plus. The game you are looking forward to probably after
For
that
you?
Bulldogs game. I don't know if I'm really looking forward to this game, if I'm being honest. We'll jump into it. It's the Panthers versus the Roosters. I will be there. It's going to make me upset. But
I'm already laughing. It's good. It is good.
obviously, most notably, I look at that lineup and I see no Luke Keary and I see no Hargraves. Now, when you go to the foot of the mountain at Bluebet Stadium on a cold winter's night, you need a bit of aggression. And I think that's what we're going to lack with Hargraves, that little bit of niggle, try and get under their skin. Now, Ivan Cleary, you're an absolute prick for naming every single Origin player that played for you guys for New South Wales, but I'll let you go over score because I've still got to bring myself to say that we're not going to win this game. But I'll let you go, obviously, about the lineups first, and then talk to me what you think about the scoreline.
Yeah, obviously you got a really familiar, unchanged Panthers squad, 1-17. You did bring up Drew Hutchison into the 6 role. I think that does you a little bit of good. Obviously, when you had last year, when you did have Keary knocked out and he was injured, and you had Drew Hutchison and Sam Walker there in the halves, you actually played some good footy, and you looked like a team that was going to bounce back this year and actually do some impressive things. Obviously, it hasn't worked out, but I think this is the game that you turn it around, and I'm going to go Roosters. You do like to say 1 to 12, but I'm going to say 1 to 4. 1 to 4 points. You are going to win this game. I think coming off the Origin, I think Panthers, this is the time to hit them. And you got them at a good sort.
I think you got dropped on your head more than what Callum Ponga did during the week to think that the Roosters are going to beat Penrith. Listen, I will probably openly back the Roosters when it comes to my tipping comps. But I just can't see us getting past this Penrith side. I understand what Cleary's doing here. He's trying to wrap up this minor premiership so he can rest these players come the back end of the season. It's going to take a big mission for us to win. I think the last 2 or 3 times we've played at Bluebet Stadium, we've been up 10-0 and we haven't scored a point after that. So it's a bit of a concern. But like I said last year, as long as we don't cop 50, let's just get past this game. And there's other games where we can try and push, obviously, for the top 8. But I look at that starting lineup. It's scary. I look to our bench. Connor Watson, he can bring a little bit off the bench. Butchers, well, we still don't know how good they're going. Obviously, Egan was stretched off the last game he did play. Butcher was taken off with concussion as well with Nat. I don't know, man. I'm going to say... I'm going to go Penrith 1 to 12. I can't tip the Roosters. I cannot see us winning this game. I don't think we have enough grunt, and I think we'll be competitive, but I think ultimately Penrith will have too much talent, especially with Nathan Cleary leading the boys around the park. But we'll jump into, obviously, the Bulldogs versus the Sharks because I feel sick after saying my team wasn't going to win. Bulldogs, Sharks, there's your lineups, Baxter. Who are you taking and why?
Yeah, obviously you got an unchanged Bulldogs squad coming off the win against the Tigers. You got Andrew Fafita there and Dale Fitukane on the bench there, so it is going to be good for Sharks. My heart wants Doggies to win because I want Sharks out of the 4 and away from us, the Cowboys. But my head says, no, my head agrees with my heart. It's going to be Dogs 1-12 here. I'm going to back the Larry's team, and hopefully they can prove why Mick Potter is the guy to keep the job at the Dogs.
Well, obviously, you've just brought that up. You've obviously gone Dogs 1-12.
Yep.
I don't know what's more laughable to think the fact that you think the Roosters are going to win at Penrith, or the fact that you think the Dogs are going to beat the Sharks. But I'm going to go Sharks 13 plus. Obviously, we saw Ronaldo had a cracking international rep game. Nico Hines has been around that origin, so we don't know what he's learned from Nathan Cleary. He might have learned how to control that pack even more so than what he's done. But, mate, yeah, the Dogs are on a run, but I just don't see it continue. I think this is the first biggish team they're going to take on. Obviously, Parramatta, don't get me wrong, they're a big team, but they caught them on an off week. They've then gone and battered the Tigers.
Don't even put Parramatta in that category, mate.
I have to. They beat the Roosters last week. I have to put them in that category to make myself sound better.
The Roosters beat the Cowboys. It doesn't matter. And then the Knights beat you round one. So you can't even say anything. Look, to say Parramatta are a top team and a title contender is the bigger joke.
Well, I don't think they're a title contender, but I think we definitely both at the start of the year would have had them in that top 6 contention. As much as you love the Cowboys, you said I had them too low. You said I had them too high. At 14th. As much as we love Brisbane, I don't think we saw any of them coming in the top 8. So
no, we did
I think the Eels were a top 6 team, and they should be a top 6 squad.
Well,
so
we'll see.
Changing your tip?
No.
Are you changing the tip?
No, I'm going to stick with the Dogs 1-12 here. Look, hey, come the next podcast if I am on, and my tips do get up, we'll just have a big laugh at the start, and we'll just leave it at that.
All right, I am going Sharks 13 plus. It wouldn't shock me if it was a 1-12 game, but I just think Nico Hines really turns it on. But obviously, we are up to that 10 minutes, so we're going to move in to probably the game you're looking forward to the most now. Obviously, if you think I'm saying that a lot, obviously Baxter said besides this Cowboys-Broncos game, he was looking more forward to the Sharks versus Dogs, but it's the 4X derby. I feel like there's one every second week, but both in form, both firing. Reynolds is back.
Yep.
Who are you taking? Is there an upset, or are you taking the Cowboys?
I will never, as you with the Roosters, I am to the Cowboys. I will never, ever go against them. So I'm going to 1-12 here for the Cowboys. Obviously, the boys from Origin are backing up. Yeah, as you said, Adam Reynolds starts at 7. Pack Harrigan, let's see how he returns from Origin. Obviously, he didn't have the bestest game. He did run for 103 meters. So we'll see. Luciano Leilua obviously makes his move from the Tigers to the Cowboys. He makes his debut off the bench in jersey number 15. We did say in a previous pod for the Origin wrap up, Haas with his knee. Will he start? Well, he has been named. We'll just see how it is. Felt back on the reserves for the Cowboys. Look, I'm sticking them with it 1-12 Cowboys and bring home that title of the 4X little shield.
All right. Now, you know what? In years past, we probably would have said this is a kind of out there call, but with these two teams, it's probably not shocking given their last few years' history. I'm going to go Golden Point. I think this game's going to go to Golden Point. I'm going to go 22-all into Golden Point, and then I'm going to go with experience. I'm going to go with Reynolds to knock it over. Now, on the flip side, if Payne Haas doesn't play and they lose that, I think the Cowboys roll over him. I think Payne Haas, as much as he's got his issues, I think he is a player that can lift this squad and he can get them on that front foot, especially with his power. So I'm going to stick with the 1 point to the Broncos. However, if Payne Haas goes out, I'm going the Cowboys 13 plus. That's how big I think he is to this Brisbane side. So Baxter will keep rolling. It's a game that it's quite close to you at home. Obviously, there's family affairs going on right here. Rabbitohs versus Eels.
Yeah,
most of the family's going for that. Your mum's on herself going for Parramatta now. The return of Latrell Mitchell. that is probably the biggest talking point of this game.
Mm.
How do you think Latrell goes? Obviously, rumors is 10 to 15 kilos lighter.
Yep.
And who's taking home this game? It is obviously out of Core Stadium, but who is taking home this game?
Look, I did laugh and just say Eels aren't a premiership title contender team, but I am going to side with them. Obviously, you got Latrell coming back. He has lost a little bit of weight. He's obviously had that COVID issue, and he's now over it. But he hasn't played footy. He hasn't done any contact for sport in a while. And for the what is it? The South to hook Lachlan Ilias after what was it, like not even half an hour against the Dragons. I think it was a very, very bad move. Obviously, you've come out on your Instagram to say that Cameron Serraldo will take the South job. I don't believe so. I don't believe Cameron takes it up. I do think he takes up the Titans role. Obviously, there are these big rumors that Sam Burgess is going to be on the assistant coaching role to Wayne Bennett at the Dolphins for the next year. And the agreed terms with him, Russell and Wayne, is that Burgess is going to go up, do his apprenticeship under Bennett, and then he's going to come back down and take over South. Now, I could be wrong. You could be right. Who knows? But back to this game, I don't think it does a world of confidence for Lachlan Ilias, obviously getting hooked. Has the cobwebs been shaked? Has the coach and the seven had a really good hard talk about what they want to do going forward? This eel side is really good. I do have a friend in there who playing for New South Wales Cup, and he just can't seem to make a start. He does play wing. It is a good side. I will stick with 1 to 12 Eels.
Well, come on, mate. You can't just say you have a mate. Give him a shout out. Obviously, he's pushing hard. He's fighting for that Origin jersey. Give him a quick shout out. Tell us who he is.
His name's Sean Russell. He's the bloke who scored 3 tries, a Hattie on round 1, who just suffered a rib breakage. He was supposed to come back against the Cowboys for the Eels. Obviously, he was denied flying up there. He's supposed to come back, but obviously, the Eels have gone on this roll. Mike Acevo's back. Walker Blake and Simerson have been playing well, so he's trying to crack that squad, but it is really hard. So I'm going to stick to it. Eels 1 to 12. Unfortunately, I'm siding with my mother. I'm not going to be at that household that night, but you can deal with them.
Obviously, all the best, obviously, to Sean Russell. We do hope that he does obviously get a crack. Obviously, he wants it to be at Parramatta, but we do hope that we see him in first grade for years to come and that he does solidify that position. So keep pushing, and we look forward to seeing him take the field. And who knows, Baxter, we might be able to tee something up and see if we can jump on here and get him on a podcast. But
yep,
I'm going more of the same. I'm going to go Eels 1 to 12. I'm probably not going to be in the good books for that one, but I just think, like you said, Latrell Mitchell, he's untested. We don't know what kind of training he's done, but we know from experience that you have COVID, you do struggle. You do struggle to get that peak fitness back straight away. It takes a couple of weeks. It can take a month. It can take 2 months. Now, I'm going to go 1 to 12. I'm not going to say much more because I think this game's going to be a cracker and it is going to fall on a knife edge. But for my prediction, my bold prediction to come true, Souths need to miss the top 8. So let's hope they lose this game. Somehow, like you said, the Roosters beat Penrith and we're back in that top 8. But arguably one of the games I'm looking forward to the most, Baxter, and it's not for the competition style. It is the return to New Zealand, the return to Mount Smart Stadium. It's the Warriors taking on the hopeless, I think is a nice word to put it, the hopeless West Tigers. I'm going Warriors 20 plus. I think I'm going to go straight out there. Warriors 20 plus. They're at home. Walshy knows that his origin jersey's up for grabs. I'm going 20 plus. They're running over him. I don't even have to say anything else. They're back in New Zealand. 20 plus.
Oh, that is wow. Okay, if you haven't, punters, jump on that. I don't know what that's paying, but yes, it is good to see that the Warriors back home. Obviously, it was announced before Origin. I think it was a day or so that the game is being sold out. I would love to see Peter V'landys and the NRL go, you know what, Warriors, you're giving up 2 years to live in Australia. How about we do a solid? Every game is played in New Zealand for you guys, regardless if you're the home team, the away team. Keep them in New Zealand. Give something back. They've given something to the NRL to keep the competition running. Let's give them something back, and it's good to see that the New Zealand people are backing their team. Obviously, you got Ewan Aiken back in the centres there, and it is a good side for the Warriors. I wouldn't call them hopeless Tigers. Obviously, it's been reported that Cameron Serrato has knocked back that 5-year deal for the Tigers. He's come out, I don't know if it's him or his agent has come out and said that he's needed a more of his experienced coach. Obviously, Brooks, after the last round, was rumoured to be dropped. Now he's named. What's that? I look at Luke Brooks and he's the Mitchell Pearce of what he was for New South Wales during that era. He's come in at a squad at a time where it was all good, and it's just crumbled around him, and he's just taking the slack. He's taking the blame. Obviously, Jackson Hastings moving the halfback was good for a while, but James Roberts makes his start again at centre as well after that loss to the Knights early on in the competition. I can't match it with 20 plus, so I'm going to jump to about, I'm going to say 15 plus for the Warriors. I don't think it's going to get that 20-ish mark, but yeah, look, if it happens, I'll be glad. I'll be glad for the Warriors, but if it doesn't, I'm not as sad because you tipped the Warriors win. So I am going Warriors of 15 plus here.
Well, obviously, I do agree with you. I think the NRL does have to start giving back to the Warriors. It's a tough one. I don't think you can say the Warriors get every home game for the remainder of the season, purely because that's going to disadvantage the teams that haven't played the Warriors yet. Now, if it's next year and you want to say every single game's at home, I'm all for it. I think there's one more year of Magic Round at Suncorp. That's what's agreed on. Let's give it back to the Warriors after that. Give it to them for 3 to 5 years, pack out their stadium, get money back into the economy. And obviously, a massive thank you to the Warriors because without them, the NRL didn't survive those last 2 years. But Baxter, I don't usually do this, but I'm going to pop it up on the screen. That is my bet of the week right there. Warriors minus 3.5 is the line. It's $1.81. It's not crazy value, but chuck it into a multi. I think it's a sure thing. And I think they're going to take that home. And like I said, you want to chuck 20 plus on, it's going to be a lot higher odds. Go for it. Gamble responsibly, but go for it. We will move on. We've both got the Warriors winning. We're moving into the Sunday 4:00 game. It's the Dragons versus the Raiders. Now, it's an interesting game. Cody Ramsey at that fullback position. Ben Hunt does back up. It's one of those games where I think I'm going to side with the Dragons purely because of where the game is getting played. Now, if this was in Canberra, I don't look past Canberra. But being at Wynn Stadium, a Sunday, 4:00, it should be a really good crowd. Majority Dragons fans. I'm going the Dragons 1-12. How are you seeing this one, Baxter?
Yeah, I agree with you with respect. So I'm going to go with the Dragons purely. They're the home team. Obviously, Raiders being at home wouldn't knock them. You got Nickel Coolstack named on the bench now. Whether he comes on and plays fullback or whatever their thinking is going to be a good one. And then you got Wyden back from his COVID situation. Hopefully, he makes an impact and gets back that Blues jersey that he so deservingly needs. Dragons running out a good side there. I'm going to say 1-6 for the Dragons. I'm going to say anticipation of a close one. Obviously, the Raiders getting over the Knights last game by just really near the bell shows that they've got it to win the 2 points, but do they have enough to hold out the 80? That's why I'm going 1-6. Hopefully they get up for us, and yeah.
Well, obviously, like we said, that is obviously round 16. Baxter, I guess, what are you more excited for? Obviously, I'm excited just to see these players returning. As much as I don't like Melbourne winning games, Pappy, he's massive to the game. I think he still might even be the second top point try scorer, and he hasn't played in like 6 weeks. So he's a big player to this game. It's probably a massive threat to Queensland if he does start playing, because having him at number 14 could be electric. But obviously, the Roosters, my boys, they need to win. But Baxter, I know we spoke off air. You wanted to talk a little bit about coaching. What's going around those coaching sagas? Do you want to go a bit more into that for us?
Yeah, look, obviously, I did say Mick Potter. His name's more talked about at the Dogs there. Obviously, Cameron Serrato knocking back the Tigers' job, and the Warriors still make no noise there. Now, look, I'm going to throw it to you, Tony. If every club, the Warriors, the Dogs, the Tigers, if all offered you $1 million a season for 5 years, which one would you take? And give us your reasons why. For me, and I know we talked it off, I'd rather go to the Dogs, but I'd love to hear your point of view.
So we're going Warriors, Dog, Tigers. That's what we're throwing in it.
That's the only three that don't have a head coach at the moment.
I guess it's. I'd probably have to immediately rule out the Tigers. No disrespect to anyone at the Tigers, playing wise. I just think that board's a bit all up in arms at the moment. You look at the talent they've let go. You look at the way they've said players aren't going to make it, and they've made it. I can't see myself coaching the Tigers, and I think that's what Serrato even saw. He saw that it was a suicide mission going there. So I am going to say Tigers, you're out. Now the Warriors, the Dogs. If you're looking at, obviously, we're living in Sydney. I don't have to relocate. The Bulldogs are favourites. The Warriors have a good squad, but we've also seen that they have failed to bring across talent. They offered Manu a lot more than what he was on at the Roosters, a lot more than what the Roosters offered. He turned them down. We've somehow seen the Bulldogs have been able to sign players. So for that reason alone, and the squad that I see them with this year, Burton, obviously Kicker coming in next year. You've got Addo Carr.
Reid Marnie.
I'm going to the Bulldogs. Reid Mahoney. I'm going to the Bulldogs. I'm taking that. I'm taking even a pay cut to go to the Bulldogs, and I'm hoping to build from there.
That's good. Yeah.
So obviously, Baxter, I'll leave you with the final concerns. Obviously, my team is sitting just outside the top 8. Yours is sitting quite comfortably in that top 4. Do the Roosters make the top 8?
You have one of the hardest runs in from now to the start of the finals. On your depth and experience and your beloved coach, Trent Robinson, I am going to say, yes, you will make it. You will not make top 4. You will make it from that 5 to 8 range. Whereabouts, I don't really know. Obviously, as the games go on, we'll see a clearer picture. But yeah, you'll be playing final footy. I don't see South making final footy. That's probably the only thing from grand final makers to early Monday people. Like, just it is one of those weird ones. But yeah, as to your question, yeah, I do believe the Roosters will make the finals.
All right. Well, obviously, yeah, like you said, I look at that draw and it is a bit hard. I think we need to win probably close to 3/4 to 100% secure that top 4. It is doable, but Baxter, as always, it has been a pleasure to have you on this podcast. If you are listening to this, it is Thursday afternoon. We have popped it up. It was pre-recorded, so some of these players might have moved around. You know what? Pappy might already be in the lineup. We don't know, but obviously we look forward to a cracking weekend of rugby league. Rep football's over for a couple of weeks, but Baxter, I know you do every week. You've subscribed. You've liked the videos. You listen to the videos, even if you're on them, which I hate doing when I've already been on them. I hate listening to my own voice, but please, guys, if you are out there, you are listening, you're liking the content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, share it with your friends. Even if they don't want you to, just share it with them. Because if they click on it, that counts as a view. And I don't even care if they only listen to it for 10 seconds. Send it to them. And Baxter, if they don't listen to the video, where are they going, mate?
Look, they're going for 10. And this time, I got no one to send to the bin.
All right. Well, thanks again, mate. And I'm sure we'll have you back on very soon. But we have been the Gone for 10 show. And we'll see you guys soon.